All right, guys, so this is one of the most important videos that I've ever put out, and it's gonna be super valuable to you. I'm gonna show you all the mistakes that I made when I went from overweight and out of shape, and I lost weight, but I didn't look the way that I wanted to look, and how I went back and did it the right way. If you're getting ready to lose weight, or you're thinking about getting in shape, or you're in the middle of a diet now, you definitely wanna watch this video to see if you are making any of these mistakes that I was making and how you can correct them so you can actually like the way that you look in the end result. Okay, it's a 10-minute video, it's a little bit long, but I'm telling you, it's totally worth it. Stick around, it's free information that you're not gonna get anywhere else, and I promise you, you're gonna walk away from it knowing way more than you did before so that you can have a successful diet and love the way that you look. All right, enjoy the video. Let's get to this next point. So how many people here think if they lose 20 pounds right now, from where you're at, if you lost 20 pounds, you would probably look the way that you want to look? Remember, I always said not all weight loss is created equal, and I'm going to give you a very good example, and what better example than myself, okay? I'm going to show you what it was like when I did a bad diet, when I rushed it, when I made a lot of mistakes and errors, and hopefully you can learn from it. And I'm going to show you what happened when I changed some things up and did it the correct way, and what the difference is. I was 195 pounds. I was a big boy, right? I got big. I was depressed. I was eating whatever I wanted. I was still lifting weights, but you couldn't tell. I had too much fat. About December, not of last year, but the year before that. Just got out of a bad relationship. I was trying to lose weight as quickly as I could. I was like, I want to lose weight. I want to feel better. I just want to lose 20 pounds. And that was the goal I had. I went from 195 pounds to 175. This is 20 pounds less, but I don't look very toned. I look like a smaller human. Let's look at some numbers here. So this is 20 pounds of weight loss, but look at this. I went from 152 pounds of non-fat weight. So this is your bones, organs, waist, muscle, and water. So for all intents and purposes, let's call it muscle and water, because I didn't lose any bones, right? I didn't get a leg removed. I didn't lose a kidney. I had all my organs still, okay? So I went from 152 pounds of, let's say, muscle to 141 pounds. That's 11 pounds. I lost 11 pounds of muscle out of that 20 pounds. In terms of fat, I went from 43 down to 34. I lost 9 pounds of fat, which is great. But the reason why I look like this is because I was losing muscle at a faster rate than I was losing fat. That's gonna have a huge impact on the way you look in the end result, okay? So I realized I didn't like the way I looked. Built my metabolism back up, I puffed up again, I got bigger. Second time, look at the difference here. 172 pounds, that's 3 pounds less. Remember, the last one was 175. This time, from 152 pounds to 151, how much muscle and water did I lose? 1 pound. Could have been muscle, could have been water, combination of both. Fat, how much did I lose? From 43 down to 21, 22 pounds. 22 pounds of fat, 1 pound of muscle loss. I didn't gain any muscle. I didn't get bigger. I didn't get huge, but I retained what I had at that bigger, larger weight. And that's what a lot of people are missing, is they're not prioritizing retaining the muscle that they have. They're just like, I'm in fat loss mode, I'm gonna lose fat. If I'm in muscle building mode, I think I'm gonna get big. That's not the case. When you lose fat, the end result is very much determined on your composition. What's your muscle to fat ratio? Okay, if you're losing muscle, if you're losing a pound and a half of muscle and a pound of fat, eventually you're gonna look like crap. Take a look at this. If you were to lose 3 pounds right now, do you think you're gonna go from that to that? If you lose 3 pounds on the scale, you're not gonna go from this to this. It starts with the decisions you make and the choices you make from when you start your diet. Let me show you the mistakes I made. When you're looking at this, I want you to think about if you're making any of these mistakes that I made over here on my bad cut. Think about it. You lose weight too fast, what are you mostly losing? A bunch of water and a bunch of muscle. And you're pretty much keeping your fat, so you get that kind of saggy, non-tone, hanging look, like this, right? This is a much tighter physique. My waist, look, my waist is much smaller. I have more muscle on my shoulders. You can see the definition better. Let's talk about what I did over here. I wanted to lose weight so fast and so drastically. I'm like, I want to lose weight by any means necessary. So my mind went to cut my calories and do a bunch of cardio. I wasn't thinking about lifting weights. I wasn't thinking about that. Even though I know better, I just wasn't doing it. I was maybe lifting weights once or twice a week. Okay, but it was nothing that was challenging my body. I wasn't coming in here with the intention of, I'm gonna lift heavy and try to get stronger. I was just kind of going through the motions. I'm gonna do a little bit of chest press, do a little bit of rows, a little bit of squats. I didn't really care what the weight was. I wasn't pushing myself to failure. And what do I preach to you guys all the time? Go heavy. Take it to failure. I'm trying to tell you guys these things because I see some of you guys making these mistakes and you might not realize it. Not focusing on weights, right? If you're in weight loss mode, you need to be focused on coming in here and getting stronger. How many people have heard that myth or that advice that if you're trying to get toned, you want to lift light weights for high reps to sculpt and kind of tone the muscle? Has anybody ever heard that myth before? There's a lot of people who still believe that, okay? And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Your body operates on signals, okay? So the easiest way I can explain without getting too nerdy and scientific is like this. Your body reacts to signals, and you give it a signal when you're dieting, you give it a signal when you're training. When you cut calories, you're giving your body a signal that we need to become more efficient, we need to lose fat, we're gonna become smaller, okay? If you're not lifting weights, your body's not getting any signal to keep your muscle. And the last thing your body wants to do is lose fat. That's your stored energy. That's what's gonna keep you alive. You're not gonna outsmart your biology, okay? It's evolved over thousands and thousands of years. So what you have to do is take the right steps. When you cut your calories and you go to lose weight, first thing your body's gonna wanna do is lose water, lose muscle, and then once it gets rid of all that, it's gonna lose a little bit of fat. So you have to be sending these strong signals to your body to keep your muscle. And if you heard the saying, you have to use it or you're gonna lose it, that's why you have to come in here and lift heavy. That's why you have to challenge yourself to the upper limit, okay? If you're capable of doing a 100-pound squat, but you're coming in here doing 60, your body's like, I don't need all this muscle anymore. I don't need this. You're already putting me in a diet where I have less energy, so I'm gonna get rid of this muscle because it's not needed to be used. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not giving your body that signal to keep your muscle. Next one, cutting calories too aggressively. Many diets like Atkins, keto, any diet that you could think of that has all these rules where you have to cut out a certain food group, right? Back in the day, it was fat was the devil, then it was carbs are the devil. If you cut out an entire food group, you're gonna have less calories. You're gonna lose weight, right? But remember this, and this is the most important thing that you wanna remember when you start thinking about doing a crazy diet. The faster that you lose weight, the faster and more aggressive you are, the more likely, number one, you're gonna rebound and gain all that weight back, and number two, most of that weight's gonna come from your muscle and water, okay? The slower you diet, the more time you take, the more likely you are to retain what you have, and that's your goal, is retain the muscle that you have right now and diet slowly so that the weight that you're losing is coming from fat. Okay? Next one, I didn't get enough protein. I didn't even have protein powder in my house at the time. I was eating KFC and Taco Bell for dinner and having like 2 or 3 Red Bulls a day. That's what I was doing. I was stressed out. I wasn't focusing on my nutrition. How many times have you got on the scale, you saw the weight was going down, but you know in the back of your head, you weren't eating well. Like you probably drank or you did something and you're like, wow, the weight loss came off. I didn't really do the right things to do it, but I'll take it. That's exactly what was going on. The weight was going down, but it wasn't because I was eating healthy. It was because I was eating 1 meal a day, and my body was burning off my muscle because I wasn't even using it. I was doing too much cardio. This is another mistake. What do a lot of people think of when they think of what kind of exercise am I going to do when I want to lose weight? Is it go hit the weights, or is it go do some cardio? Most of us think, I'm going to go do some cardio, burn some calories, burn some fats. Do too much cardio, guess where that energy is coming from? Your muscle. Okay, if you're already eating, if you're already in a diet, you're not giving your body enough carbs, enough energy, it's gonna take it from somewhere and it's gonna take it from your muscle. If you don't have these other things in place, all of these small mistakes that don't seem like a lot, when you add them up together, you end up with this kind of a physique. Okay, so think about what you're doing now and what the end result's gonna look like. It's not just about losing the next 10 or 20 pounds because it's about what are you gonna look like at the end of that 10 or 20 pounds. Over here, what did I do differently? Instead of not doing weights, I prioritized lifting weights, and I came into every workout trying to lift heavy and get stronger. I wasn't able to be stronger every workout. I wasn't able to lift more every workout, but I damn sure tried. Okay, so that's why I tell you guys, when you come in here, if you normally grab 20s for your thrusters, grab the 25s, grab the 30s, push yourself, test yourself. It's uncomfortable, it fucking sucks. But that's what you need to do to send that signal to your body to keep the muscle so that you look better in the long run. You're not going to get too bulky. You're not going to look like a female bodybuilder overnight, right? All we're doing is making sure that you like the way you look. And most of us in here want to be toned, not just a smaller human, right? Second one, I cut calories much slower. I'm talking about 100 to 200 calories. Nothing drastic, okay? And I milked every single weight loss capability that I could from that increment of calorie restriction. So when I took 200 calories out, I'd get on the scale, lost a pound. Next week, lost a pound. Next week, scale didn't move. I didn't instantly say, let me cut more calories. I stayed at that same calorie level until the next week to really make sure that my metabolism is changed, okay? Because when you cut calories too fast, your metabolism down regulates and slows down, okay? So that's why you don't want to cut your calories too fast. Your goal needs to be that you want to lose the most amount of weight at the highest amount of calories you possibly can. If you're eating 2,000 calories and if you went to 1,800, you would lose a pound a week. Why would you go down to 1,400 calories to lose that same 100 or to lose that same amount of weight? You want to drop it just by a little bit, get as much weight loss as you can. When your body is absolutely not budging, then drop a little bit more, okay? You either want to restrict your calories or do more cardio. But in the beginning of your weight loss journey, don't throw everything at it right away. Don't go into fat burning mode and now you're cutting your calories extremely low. You're doing 5 sessions of cardio, you're working out 6 days a week, and you're doing all of this because once your body adapts, what are you gonna go to from there? You understand what I'm saying? You want to do the least amount that you can to get the results from it. I hit my protein every single day. Mandatory, priority. If you guys want to be toned in the end result, you got to get your protein every day. 100%. Like there's some people that are like 6 months, a year in, they're still not hitting their protein goal. It's so freaking easy. But remember, if it's a priority, you're going to find a way. If it's not, you're going to find an excuse. And I'm hoping by explaining this to you, you understand how freaking important it is to get your protein in. It's gonna literally change the way that you look in the end. If you don't have enough protein in your diet, a lot of you guys, when you guys came to me, you were not getting enough protein. And what's the first thing I told you? We need to be getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's not just a random number, there's a reason for that, okay? Protein's role when you're dieting is you need to have enough that your body will maintain the muscle that it has. Because here's what happens. When you cut down your calories, presumably you're gonna be having less carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is energy for your body, right? So if you're not getting enough energy, your body is gonna turn to your muscle and break down your own muscle tissue into amino acids and use that for energy. Okay, so not getting enough protein and dieting, combined with working out, you're literally eating your own body. You're eating all the muscle that you worked hard for. So when I say you need to get enough protein, what I mean by enough is that you need to have enough protein that you're stimulating that response to be able to keep your muscle, and also extra left over that your body can burn off if it needs extra energy because you're eating less food. Okay? If it needs energy, it can just burn off that extra protein that you're getting from eating it. But if you're not eating enough, if you're not ingesting enough protein, your body's gonna go to your muscle and tear it down. You're gonna look like that. Over the course of time. This is what happened. I was running all the time. I was putting demands and stress on my body that required energy, but because I was eating less calories and not giving it that energy, where did it take it from? It took it from my muscle. So that's why you gotta get enough protein in. It's so, so, so important. That's probably the number one thing you need to remember. Okay? And then less cardio, right? There's a reason why we want to take 2 Tylenols for a headache instead of 10. Take the minimum effective dose that's going to work. More is not always better.